is enough said.
Happy Hump Day, Heat Nation. Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Guys, please don't forget to show support. You know what I'm going to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Like, share, subscribe. We are on the brink to 6,000 subscribers. So please, guys, help your boy grow this channel. Now that we got out of the way, let's go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Now, today's episode, you guys, I want to kind of get back on the possibilities of changing this Miami Heat roster. It's NBA playoff time. I know Heat fans are watching the playoffs, watching Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors win game 1 in the second round of the playoffs against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was a big game. Steph Curry goes out with injury. No problem. Buddy Hield apparently becomes the next Steph Curry, and Golden State gets the dub. I know Heat fans are watching that thinking, what a regret it was trading Jimmy Butler. At the end of the day, you guys, nothing can be done about it. Jimmy quit on this team. Pat Riley didn't want to give him the extension. Was it wrong? Was it right? Hindsight's 2020. Of course, we're going to look at it now and think it was a mistake to make that trade. But let's see how that contract plays out in the next few years. Jimmy got a 2-year maximum extension. We were dealing with this run it back mentality every year here in Miami, and it was driving the fans crazy. Now I get it. Run it back means we were just bringing back Tyler Hero. You needed to move Tyler to get Jimmy Butler that superstar level player. You see what Jimmy Butler can do with a superstar level player like Steph Curry. Had Miami gotten a Damian Lillard or Kevin Durant or James Harden or Kyrie Irving, what would have been? But at the end of the day, you guys, we can't look backwards because there's nothing we can do about it. Unless anybody has a time machine that I don't know about, but can't do anything about it. All we can focus on is today and moving forward. And that's what I choose to do. And that's what we're going to do in today's episode. Because we've talked about this before, you guys, but there is possibly going to be a heavily coveted superstar this offseason. Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks. We all know what's going on there. The Bucks got bounced in the first round again in the playoffs. Damian Lillard tears his Achilles in the playoffs. He's going to miss next season. They don't have Chris Middleton. They traded him for Kyle Kuzma. This team is basically trash moving forward. And the only reason why they can actually make the playoffs is Giannis. Now, I want to go back to something that was reported in February, for those of you that don't remember. And this was reported by Brian Windhorst. It was reported by Shams Charania. This is back in February. It was reported. First, Giannis does an interview saying that he'll never ask to be traded from Milwaukee. And literally the day after that, it came out from Brian Windhorst and Shams Charania that if the Milwaukee Bucks cannot contend in the 2025 playoffs, Giannis will look to ask out. And the two teams that were reported of heavily interest from Giannis was the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. Now, this is back in February, you guys. I did talk about this back in February. Little by little, more inclinations were coming out that Giannis might want out. Then Damian Lillard got the blood clot. Then Damian Lillard comes back and tears his Achilles. And now the Milwaukee Bucks' season is over. And Giannis, you guys, he hasn't requested a trade yet. We know this isn't going to bleed until the offseason, but this is going to get pretty interesting. Now, another thing that I want to talk about, you guys, there was a podcast, I'm pulling it up right now, but there was a podcast that recently came out. And this was a podcast that included Zach Lowe and a very highly touted reporter from the NBA. I can't remember his name right now, but it was the Zach Lowe show. Anyways, this is what was said in the report, and I want you guys to hear this.
So some of this is going to depend on, one, does Giannis ask out? Because you're not going to proactively just trade him probably, right? It's the Damian Lillard conundrum, where it's like, maybe we should have moved off with sooner, but you can't trade Damian Lillard unless he has to be traded. Oh, he has to be traded? Cool, all right, now let's move. I think it's the same thing with Milwaukee. Does Giannis ask out? If he does he have a list? I poked around a little bit a few days ago, and the initial thing I got from one person was just like, some rumblings that it's already just the the big cities, it's one of the LA teams or one of the New York teams, or maybe Miami, not big market, but glamour market, mid-sized market. I think they threw Chicago in there. I can't remember if Houston came up. It should. So first is like, where does Giannis want to go, and do they honor that? Because again, back to Dame, you're not obligated to honor it. The second piece then is, so what does the bidding war look like? You can say, well, Ahmed Thompson's untouchable, Şengün's untouchable. Well, it depends on what other teams are offering that you might have to be bidding against, right?
I'm going to stop it there. And just to let you guys know, the name of the person on the episode with Zach Lowe was Howard Beck. Howard Beck is one of the most inside reported journalists in the NBA. He knows all the scoop. He knows everything that's going down. If it's reported by Howard Beck or Evan Slidery, these are guys that you want to pay attention to because they have ties inside the team. Now, it wasn't high enough, so I hope you guys heard it. But to basically piggyback what he said was that he poked around the league a few days ago. And the initial thought that he was told from one person is that there's some rumblings that it's already just the big cities. Giannis is looking to go to Los Angeles, New York, or Miami. We've heard this. We've heard in the past that Giannis, if he does leave Milwaukee, is looking for a big market. So this leaves 5 teams, if this is realistic. Now remember, you guys, because this is all rumors. This is all speculation. What's true? What's not true? We're going to find out in the offseason. But we do know a few things, and we do know a few things to be true. There have been mutual interests in the past between Miami and Giannis. There was this big thing in 2020 before Giannis signed a Supermax extension. At the Miami Heat, we're going to go all in with Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's mutual interest there. We know that. Also, Bam Adebayo and Giannis Antetokounmpo share the same agent. That's big. Let's not forget back in 2010 when Dwayne Wade and LeBron James were kind of manipulating the system and trying to get together. A big reason why Chris Bosh was a part of that was because Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh shared the same agent. That's big when it comes to these players, you guys. The agents are their communication from these teams. And when players share the same agent, information is given sometimes that NBA may not like to pass out. So that's a big thing there too. Another thing, you guys, is when you look at these teams, New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets, Los Angeles Lakers, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Miami Heat, you're trying to look to see between these teams what team can give the very best offer. That's basically what this lies to. Because at the end of the day, you guys, Giannis can just come out and say, send me to Miami. I want to go to Miami. That's cool. But look what happened with Damian Lillard. He said Miami or bust. For 2 months, it was Miami, nowhere else. If you send me to Miami, I'm going to ask out and want to go somewhere else. What happened? He got traded to Milwaukee because Damian Lillard eventually gave up. So it doesn't matter if he requests us to go to Miami. Miami needs to learn from this Damian Lillard situation, and they need to learn that they have to put a package together that realistically can get them Giannis. You can't just lowball Milwaukee and think that they're going to take it because it's the best offer at the time. Pat Riley needs to step the hell up. Now, when you look at these certain teams, first team I want to look at is the New York Knicks. Yes, they have assets you can trade, but New York is going all in with this current roster they have. They gave up multiple draft picks to get Karl Anthony Towns. Right now, the New York Knicks, they don't own their first round pick. Their 2026 draft pick that they got from Washington is protected. They have their own pick. And then after that, they don't have a first round pick until 2030. So it's really difficult to add draft capital to trade for Giannis. That's what you're going to need. In order to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, you guys, you need a mixture of things. You need draft capital, you need young assets, and you need expiring contracts. Because if Milwaukee's going to trade Giannis with having Damian Lillard for another year, it's to rebuild. Milwaukee also doesn't own a first-round draft pick until 2031. So that's why they need multiple picks. Then you look at a team like the LA Lakers. The LA Lakers, we talked about this yesterday, you guys. They don't really have a lot of draft capital. They have a few draft picks that they can add, but their biggest problem is adding assets. In order for the LA Lakers to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, they got to trade Luka Doncic, and I don't think they're looking to do that. So I think that takes LA Lakers out of the running because they just don't have enough draft capital to get that trade. A team that does have a lot of draft capital is the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets can potentially own 4 first-round draft picks in this this upcoming draft. They have another draft pick in 2026, multiple first-round draft picks in 2027, a draft pick in 28 and 29. So they can give Milwaukee a huge amount of draft capital. But Brooklyn, they're a tanking team. They're not really going anywhere. They have flexibility and salary cap space, so they could add another player with Giannis. But I don't really see Brooklyn being that team. But they can surprise people. Then you look at a team like the LA Clippers. Yeah, the Clippers do have draft capital. They have their 2025 first-round draft pick. And then after that, they have a 27 pick, a 29 pick. So yeah, they can include multiple players. They don't have as much young assets, but they can include multiple players in a deal. The Clippers are someone that you keep your eye on, but Giannis to go over there to play with Kawhi, that can be enticing as well. Maybe even James Harden. You may have to add one of those players in a potential deal. But then you look at the Miami Heat. And one thing that I look at with this Heat team is that the Miami Heat can give Milwaukee everything that they're looking for. Let me break down two different trade packages that I think can work for Giannis. Now, the main goal when you're trying to trade for somebody like Giannis is to keep your two main players, Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. That's why I kept mentioning that a trade for Kevin Durant may be the best option, because you can trade for Kevin Durant while keeping Tyler and Bam. You may not have to give up the farm. For Giannis, you're going to have to give up a lot. So this is a package that I feel can work if you don't include Tyler and Bam. You would have to give up Andrew Wiggins, Milwaukee's choice between Duncan Robinson or Terry Rozier. Both have expiring contracts, which is a sweetie. You're going to have to give them multiple young assets. Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez, and Nikola Jovic. Maybe just two of them, but most likely all three. And then you would give up your 2025, your 2029, and your 2031 future first-round draft picks unprotected. That's a lot. That's going far. And you're giving up a 2031 pick, and by that time, who knows if Giannis is going to be on your team or not. So that's risking a lot. But Milwaukee doesn't have draft capital, so that's what they're going to want. And you can add Giannis Antetokounmpo with Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Davion Mitchell, and figure it out from there. You'll have enough. Or you can kind of dwindle down on the assets and you can go for a home run shot. You can involve a package with Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, who's from Milwaukee. Tyler Hero, who's on a favorable contract. Yes, he may be getting an extension, but he is from Milwaukee. And if they're rebuilding, Tyler Hero is a piece you'd like to add, because in a bad team, as your best player, Tyler can be an all-star. We saw it this year. That's what Tyler's capable of being. So you can include Tyler Hero, their choice, Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, and then you can include the 3 first-round draft picks and maybe just one of the assets, Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez, or Nikola Jovic. So you don't have to give up all of the young assets you have. So between those two trades, I think these are doable trades that can land Giannis. In today's NBA market with the new collective bargaining agreement, people need to understand that these trades that happened a few years ago for Kevin Durant and Rudy Gobert, where teams are giving 4 players and 5 first-round draft picks, that's not what it's going to be anymore. You're going to see trades kind of like what happened with Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic. A lot of people were shocked by that trade, but that's where the NBA is going. So Heat Nation, I want to hear from you. Do you think either of these trade packages can get it done for Giannis? Because remember, the rumor is he wants to go to big markets. New York, LA, Miami. But the team that I'm worried about, you guys, Houston. Houston got bounced out of the first round as a second seed. Houston has multiple first-round draft picks coming up the next few years and young assets that they can include in a trade. Houston is the one that I think has the best opportunity to get Giannis. But the Heat have a shot. Should they go for it? Should they run it back? Or should they rebuild? Let me know in the comments what you think, you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe as we push for 6,000 subscribers. Thank y'all so much for the continued support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that is enough said.